We're glad to have you again. In this video, we'll explain the inner workings of a sniping burning arrow elementalist. The new snipe skill is a great addition to the bow-wielding dot builds. Instead of causing multiple smaller instances of bleeding, poison, or ignite, you're now able to cause one that's significantly stronger. You have to channel the attack first for a couple of seconds, which limits its viability. It's particularly great if the dot ailment is limited to only one stack, such as the case with ignite. Burning arrow is the best bow attack for this purpose. In addition to that, you will be using Alchemist's Mark to create burning ground, which plays a surprisingly big role in your overall DPS. Having only a channeling skill is of course bad for clearing, so to dispose of smaller foes use another burning arrow with ignite proliferation and multiple projectiles. It elevates this build to one of the best in terms of clear speed. You have two 6-link setups after all. Elementalist is the obvious choice for an ignite build due to the Shaper of Flames keystone, which grants tons of burning damage and guarantees ignite with each hit. With Mastermind of Discord and Heart of Destruction, your elemental damage is further magnified. Burning arrow has simply the highest base fire damage and effectiveness of added damage out of all bow attacks, especially against burning targets. The snipe skill is to be used against bosses. Be sure to hit them with the clear focused burning arrow first, as it's linked with combustion. Most of your items are of rare quality, granting you a lot of flexibility. The build has pretty solid defenses, as you're allowed to use Bastion of Elements keystone, the brass dome, and combine it with determination. Life regeneration may be an issue but can be fixed in various ways. Clear speed is one of the best in the game due to ignite proliferation and multiple chaining projectiles with guaranteed ignite. Single target damage is also good with snipe. The ignite will last for around 3 seconds with Dyadian Dawn, so you have to use it frequently. The price is variable, as all the items including the weapon are rare. You can start with it on a budget and upgrade it as you progress. Polaric Devastation and Circle of Anguish are your recommended rings. For body armor, we encourage getting a good brass dome. Remember that you can use a lot of uniques popular in Tornado Shot or other elemental damage Deadeye builds. The added extra physical, cold, fire, lightning, and chaos damage will cause ignite with Shaper of Flames. Just be sure that your fire damage is the highest one. Brass dome is extremely good if well rolled. It adds tons of armor and maximum elemental resistances, which are usually low in such builds. Lauraweave is good too for similar reasons. It also has other great modifiers like extra attributes, added damage, increased elemental damage, and increased rarity of items found. Hyri's Ire is another powerful chest piece. It adds a lot of dexterity, evasion, cold damage, and chance to suppress spell damage. You may want to use Grace instead of Determination with this one. Be careful not to add too much cold damage to your attacks. Dyadian Dawn is the best option for a belt by a long shot. It has solid basic stats and makes your ignite deal damage faster, which is a big improvement. You're using Herald of Ash, so Circle of Anguish is a sound option. Try to get increased fire damage, buff effect, or reservation efficiency. Polaric Devastation should cover enemies in Ash. They'll take 20% increased fire damage. It has other good stats like resistances, increased ignite duration, and elemental damage. Bloodnotch will recover life instantly after taking damage from a stunning hit. Combine it with Immutable Force and Energy Shield Mastery to lower your stun threshold. Get a copy of Immutable Force Jewel with at least 800% recovery, and combine it with Bloodnotch. It's a great source of life recovery, and stuns will have no effect on you. You can place Brutal Restraint in various places to get more dexterity and for other notable upgrades such as extra accuracy or increased ignite duration. Your auras are Determination and Malevolence. Malevolence's mod for extra damage over time multiplier is the best one to look for in a Watcher's Eye. The base flat damage on your bow will be the top priority. You can actually use a bow with many different types of added damage: fire, lightning, cold, or physical. Remember to have a high accuracy rating with around a 95% chance to hit. The bow will probably require around 200 dexterity, so be prepared to get items with this stat on them. It's great to have a source of passive life regeneration other than the life flask. Besides the usual armor or evasion, we heavily encourage getting spell suppression chance. It's extremely impactful. Remember to cap the elemental resistances at 75%, and have at least positive chaos resistance. Try to get immunity against various dot effects, be it from the Pantheon, Flasks, passives, boots, or jewels. If you have a problem with mana sustain, allocate Eldritch Battery or try to lower the mana cost of skills. Blizzard Crown is extremely good as it adds more damage with no drawback. It's where you can get extra accuracy, dexterity, resistances, spell suppression, and other, harder to get modifiers. Get a bow with as much elemental DPS as you can afford, all the other modifiers hardly matter. These added elemental damage modifiers are suffixes. For prefixes you can look for accuracy, dexterity, or dot multiplier. Quiver can too add extra elemental damage to your attacks. Here we encourage getting extra maximum life, attributes, resistances, and additional offensive modifiers. Body armor. Here we would recommend looking only for the most basic stats like armor, evasion, maximum life, resistances, attributes, and suppression. Boots offer mostly basic modifiers like movement speed, maximum life, elemental resistances, attributes, and spell suppression chance. Apply the Eldritch modifier to make your ignites deal damage faster. On the gloves seek accuracy, resistances, attributes, and suppression for suffixes, and various types of added elemental damage to attacks with maximum life for prefixes. Rare Stygian Vice offers an abyss socket that you can use to gain extra accuracy if needed, but it should primarily grant maximum life, elemental resistances, strength, and increased elemental damage with attacks. The amulet may provide you with maximum life, resistances, accuracy, added damage to attacks, damage over time multiplier, attributes, and increased elemental damage. On rings, you can get extra accuracy, increased or added elemental damage with attacks, maximum life, resistances, flammability curse on hit, and attributes. Besides life and resistance, seek on your jewels the fire or dot modifiers. The best one would make your ignites deal damage faster. Use abyss jewels if you need accuracy. Large cluster jewels with increased fire damage have multiple good notables you can implement. Use one or two of them. Burning damage medium cluster jewels offer great notables as well. Blowback and wasting affliction may be the best ones for more DPS. Seek Cinderswallow urn with life recovery on kill, life regeneration every second, or reduced mana cost. It's very good for a build like this. For other flasks, you can use Granite Flask with increased armor, Jade Flask with increased evasion, a Quicksilver Flask with increased movement speed or freeze immunity, and a Life Flask with instant life on use and bleed removal. In the first setup, Burning Arrow will be the skill you will snipe with. It's the best attack as it deals a lot of extra added damage against ignited enemies. With Snipe, Burning Arrow is now a channeling skill that you will use against bosses. The accumulated stages will result in one big ignite. Link these two with burning damage, elemental damage with attacks, deadly ailments, and one of 3 other gems. Immolate if you lack flat damage on a bow, cruelty for more damage, or swift affliction for even more damage but shorter ignite. Another burning arrow is used to dispose of weaker enemies. The divergent option is probably better in this setup. Use it against bosses too before you start sniping to apply Ignite and Combustion. Link it with Ignite Proliferation, Combustion, Greater Multiple Projectiles, Mirage Archer, and Chain Support gems. You may replace one of them with Awakened Fire Penetration support to have a small chance of applying fire exposure on hit, but it's rather unreliable. Frostblink is a mobility skill that also hits enemies. Use the anomalous version for increased AoE. Anomalous flammability would be the best variant of this skill. It reduces the fire resistance of the afflicted enemy. You have to have a source of exposure, and Wave of Conviction is one of the easiest ways to apply it. You may also use Starlight Chalice Flask, Awakened Fire Penetration Support Gem, Master of Fire notable from Cluster Jewel, Eldritch Implicit on Rare Gloves, or Archdemon Crown Helmet instead. Link them up with Hextouch support. Determination adds and increases armor to mitigate incoming physical hit damage. Choose Malevolence for more damage over time and increased skill effect duration. Extremely good aura for any build. Herald of Ash grants more burning damage and increases clear speed. It also provides more fire damage sourced from physical damage. Link these auras with Enlightened support to lower their reservation cost. Alchemist's Mark is the most useful one in this case. It creates a burning ground underneath the marked enemy on hit, dealing tons of extra damage over time on top of Ignite. Link it with Mark on hit support to apply it automatically. Molten Shell is great if you have a lot of armor. It mitigates a portion of incoming hit damage for some time. Projectiles passing through Flame Wall have added fire damage. Try to set it up between you and your target. If you lack accuracy, use Precision. Even at level 1, it adds 93 of it. It's not really useful, but accuracy is in short supply in this build. Vitality may be used instead to regenerate life. Kill all 3 bandits in Act 2 and be rewarded with 2 additional skill points. For a major god, we've selected Brine King so that you cannot be stunned multiple times in a row and for freeze immunity. If you have the Bloodnotch Jewel, don't pick it and instead go for Arakali, as damage over time can quickly kill your character. For a minor god, Soul of Ryslitha seems like a great idea. You will definitely need the extra charges on life flasks, as it's one of the best ways to regenerate life back. Some boss fights may take longer than you've planned, as sniping takes a bit of practice. There are a lot of burning damage or damage over time nodes scattered around the upper part of the skill tree. Pick them up. Add to that maximum life and reservation efficiency. Whispers of Doom is important to be able to inflict 2 curses. For keystones, go for Elemental Overload and Eldritch Battery if you need it. Get the Fire Mastery for extra 5% negative resistances with exposure, increased duration of ailments and skills as DOT Mastery, and extra 50 life as Life Mastery. If you need more unreserved mana, allocate Mana Mastery for mana reservation efficiency. You should now be ready to create your own Burning Arrow Sniper Elementalist. Have fun with it, and subscribe to the channel to learn more. See you soon.